9956 is the telephone number if you want to give me a call. I'm joined now by Fatima Parker, who's a size acceptance and body image campaigner. Morning, Fatima. What does that mean?
It means that we would like to have respect and dignity for people of all sizes. And we are against fat shaming and bashing of fat people because they're different and so-called self-inflicting lazy gluttons.
Some of them are, aren't they?
Yeah, but we can't generalize. Because the problem is that they generalize everything. They make, they just put us all under the same blanket of stupid, ugly, dirty, and so on.
Where do you see this fat bashing taking place most often? What examples are there?
Everywhere. Look around you there, in your studio. Where are the fatties as a superstar or as a major presenter?
Chris
radio
Moyles.
Or television.
Chris Moyles.
One? In
but television. I mean, maybe they just not got the jobs because they're not good enough, not because they're fat.
No, this is prejudice. Why are they say that there are at least 1 billion fat people. They're not all qualified and they can't all do the job.
Okay, well, permission to speak freely, and I'm sure he won't mind. Pete Morgan, who does the breakfast show here, is a big lad. He does the breakfast show. That's the main show. I hope he's not listening.
Yes, but there's just one guy. Compared to, I mean, just look at Hollywood. You have Melissa McCarthy, and she can't even get dressed. They can't even get her out, beautiful clothes and designer clothes because they don't want to touch a fatty. The articles are everywhere.
Do you think that the reason we don't have fat people on the radio and on the television and in films is that's purely prejudice?
It is, because they say they don't look good. They're ugly. They're no good. They're not sellable. Because the idea that they sell to the nations everywhere to the world, that thin is beautiful, young, trim, slim, and firm.
Eamon Holmes is a big lad.
Yeah, but just one or two or 10 or 100.
Now, Fatima, every time I mention one, you can't keep saying that's just one. I've given you a handful.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's not enough. We're talking about a big industry. We're talking about the whole world. We're talking about... And tell me women. Let me hear about women, superstars. You have Dawn French is always losing weight, and so many others.
Isn't that interesting? Yes, you said she's always losing weight. Is that because fat people are unhappy being fat? Yeah,
because society doesn't allow us to live.
Or because it's unhealthy?
That's what size acceptance is. No. The unhealthy is to live in a society that hates you. You see here, I don't want to generalize because there are probably people who eat too much who don't care about their bodies. But the general idea is that people, there's a great discrimination. The harm is it's touching the little children, and now girls that's as young as 5 and 6 are worried that they're fat, and they're not.
But being fat is unhealthy, isn't it? It's physically unhealthy.
Not. I mean, that's the mantra. That's the idea
true,
that they give us. But you see, if you live in a world that hates you, if you can't the doctor discriminates against you, if you go to do the shopping as a woman, especially, and you can't find your size, if your jokes are always, people joke about you and they insult you, they shame you and name you. You're not going to feel happy. You're going to be stressed and depressed.
But hang on, I've got really long arms. I'm struggling to find shirt sleeves that fit me. Genuinely, I can't do it. But
they should provide for that.
Well, they should do, but that's just one of life's problems. I don't consider that to be shaming.
But you probably can't find the long sleeves in one or two shops, but you probably find them online, and it's not shameful for you to go and say, "Listen, I've got long arms. Can you make something for me?" But if we go and say, "Oh, I want a size 20 or 24," they're going to just say, "Shut up, get out of here. We don't cater for people like you."
No, hang on, Fatima. I'm with you to a certain extent, but they're not going to say, "Shut up, get out of here."
Yes.
They're not going to say, "Shut up" in shops.
They're going to say, "We don't have." They look at you, they give you a dirty look, and they say, "We don't do your size here, madam." And it gets worse, especially, don't touch the boutiques. Don't go near the boutiques because, it's just like a piece of dirt to them. But if you go to like a big store or something, they could say, "Well, we don't do your size here."
But that's okay for them to say that. That's honest, isn't it?
Yeah, but what are you going to wear? You're going to look sloppy then because you can't find your size.
Do you, Fatima, this perceived hatred, do you think this is genuine?
It's real.
Well, this is what I'm going to ask you.
Yes,
is it real, or does it... It sounds like you're putting this hatred on yourself, because I'm sure in a shop they wouldn't say, shut up, get lost, get out of here.
They probably don't say shut up, but they look at you like a piece of dirt. And
well, do they? Or is that what you perceive?
No, it is the truth. I mean, it's not only... You see, what surprises me is that... The same scenario happens everywhere. I get letters from people from South America, from Russia, from China, and they all suffer the same thing. We all get the same insults, so sometimes I wonder, is there a school that teaches them ways to insult and humiliate fat people? It's all over. The only thing that changes is the language.
Fatima, stay there. Are you all right to stick around for a couple of minutes?
Yes, of course.
I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Yes,
stay there.
me too.
Thank you, Fatima. I'm talking to Fatima Parker. She's a size acceptance body image campaigner. We'll be back in a second. It's 9:15. Let's get the travel. This is BBC WM 95.6. Let's find out what's happening on the roads and the trains with Liz Saul.
Thank you very much, Ian. Good morning. As you head to the M5 going south, there's queues in the roadworks, and between 5 and 6, the Droitwich exit to the A449, a vehicle has broken down right in the middle of the roadworks, so that's additionally closing a lane, and there's an awful lot of delay and congestion as a result of this. In fact, the roadworks on the M5 causing delays in either directions, not helped, as I say, by this breakdown. Better news in Alvechurch, that accident cleared Bittall Road. It's reopened now at the junction with Aqueduct Lane. The M6 going north, the entry slip road still partially blocked as an abnormal load has broken down at junction 10, the A454 Wolverhampton and Walsall exit, although traffic is able to get by generally without too much of a problem. It's looking better around the Burntree traffic lights in Dudley as you make your way around there, but it's very heavy going in Moseley this morning, the A435. We think it's because of a farmer's market at the junction with Salisbury Road. It's also looking a bit congested as you make your way along the A456 again, going in and out of Birmingham towards Five Ways Island. Of course, the closure of the Queensway tunnels likely to cause you some extra disruption. If you can update us, call BBC WM 95.6 travel 08453 002288.
This is the voice of Birmingham
and the Black Country. BBC WM
95.6.
Weekday mornings.
Big debates. Opinions to articulate.
I don't think it's the private schools that need to change, but it's the state schools.
Afternoons, fun and chat.
Place and tunes.
To the fat.
Oh, I love you.
You take care. I love you so much.
Guests and personalities
from all of our communities.
You make me smile every day.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you.
I love your show. It's fantastic.
Give me a mark out of 10 then.
11.
If you love where you live,
it's you we should be talking with.
The voice.
The voice.
The voice. The voice.
The voice.
The voice of Birmingham and the Black Country. BBC WM 95.6.
Morning. This is Iain Lee, BBC WM 95.6. If you want to give me a call this morning, you're more than welcome to. 03453 009956. Lots to talk about, but the first thing we're looking at this morning is Gordon Gillick. He's a UKIP councillor, and he's been talking about fat people. Let me give you this quote again, then we'll go back to our guest. The people we describe as obese, thick, badly educated, they enjoy being 25 stone. They're not discontent, they're just a burden on the state. Your thoughts on that, please? I'm speaking to Fatima Parker. She's a size acceptance body image campaigner. Fatima, if we can go back to the health thing we mentioned before, I can understand why shame is not a good thing to put on anybody, and that is horrible. I can kind of understand why perhaps some fat people feel shamed, but physically, being larger is not good for your health, is it?
That's what they teach you. Let me say this, Ian. The problem is this pressure to be thin and trying to make people thin and having this myth that fat is bad goes from childhood. They're trying to get people to be thin. So what happens is the patient or the person tries to look after their health, listen to their doctor, and especially the diet industry, and goes on the diet, loses some some weight, and then the body refuses. It comes back. They're going to say, no, it's not true. The body doesn't refuse. I say, look at the data. And then we go on the merry-go-round, and then it's on the vicious circle. We go on and on and on. So you go on a diet, you lose some, and then you put more, you lose some and put more, and so on. The statistics are there. 95% of people who go on diets put the weight back on, and 90% put more weight on. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Fatima, but I'm aware that diets are perhaps not necessarily the best way forward.
No, yeah.
But being fat does raise your chances of getting diabetes and puts pressure on your heart.
It's lifestyle. Look at the sumo wrestlers. I've given this example on your channel before. Look at the sumo wrestlers. They're very big and they don't have heart attacks because they're fit.
I thought sumo wrestlers died quite young.
Yeah, but they follow a lifestyle that is unhealthy because of their exercising and their sport. They feed them too much because they want them to get fatter and fatter and fatter. But according to the BMI, they would have died a long time before they get to 300 pounds.
What about fat kids? That's abuse, isn't it, to have a fat kid?
Really. You see, there is a thing that we have to differentiate is between this epidemic that we're having about a lot of sugar and salt and very unhealthy, polluted, all sorts of chemicals in some of the products that the children are consuming in big amounts at the moment. This is an issue, but trying to put that under criticizing the size of the victim, as I call it, it is not fair. It is not good and it's unacceptable.
But it breaks my heart when you see fat kids.
Yes, of course.
Because that's bad parenting.
Unless they are naturally that way, that's fine. But if they're not, and if they're eating too many nutritious void foods and calorie-dense foods, that is very unhealthy. The problem is that you are noticing the health of the kids, and you're saying, oh, these fat kids are bad. But what about the thin kids that consume the same thing? And then they develop other diseases like, diabetes and heart problems and cancers, autism, so many other diseases that we're seeing a large number of now.
Fatima, I could talk to you all morning. You're fascinating, but last question. So I know we've got and you call me darling. You're even better. We've got lots of calls on this. Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you just not accepting responsibility for being overweight? That you're blaming other people for your own problem?
No. I mean, no. If you go to my pages on Facebook, you'll see we would like to see people, because I'm a certain age at the moment now that I'd like to help the youth, because if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't be the size I am now. You see, if I knew it before, I wouldn't have gone on to.
So you're not happy being fat?
I am fat. I'm obese.
But you're not happy being fat?
No, I'm happy being me.
Right,
I'm happy being me. That's my size. That's my body. I'm not going to go into listening again to hating myself and hating my body. What we would like to get the nation to understand and to follow and to get educated on is love your body. Your body is important. You only got one. You've only got one life, and you've only got one body. Fat, thin, whatever size it is, old or young, try and look after it. Look after your children. Feed them well. Get them to love movement and exercise. And feed them the proper nutrition. Poor people can't buy the so-called healthy foods, so they eat whatever they can afford. So this is a choice between, am I going to feed my family or am I going to let them starve and die? You see, because the good food is too expensive.
Fatima, thank you so much. Absolutely fascinating. Fatima Parker, size acceptance body image campaigner.